All right, guys, we're back with the Screen Team right here on KWOC. And, of course, you can check out the Screen Team. We are happy to be in all the social media sites, from Facebook to YouTube to Twitter. And we have our own address at screenteampb.com. You can know the reviewers a little bit better, some of their likes and dislikes. You can also check out a lot of our past reviews as well. Central location, screenteampb.com. This second segment features Jake here in the studio, and we're going to be talking about a movie that came out in 2006, a movie that was actually really, really good, in my opinion. I think Jake agrees with me on this, but it's called Thank You for Smoking. This was a little kind of independent film, and it kind of definitely rose the name up of Aaron Eckhart a little bit, don't you think?
I definitely think so. I think he performed very, very well. I think he gave an A-list performance in a B-list movie.
Yeah. Aaron Eckhart, his character in this movie, sleazeball.
Yeah, a lobbyist.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. He works for the cigarette companies, correct?
Yes, he works for the Institute for Tobacco Research or something like that, right. Or tobacco studies. But anyway, he's essentially a lobbyist, a spin man. He doesn't have really any. He's not a lawyer or anything like that, and it's his job to put a good spin and give the best name he can out there for the tobacco companies that essentially pay for him.
From the very beginning, you kind of understand what kind of movie this is, because they set it up in almost like a Phil Donahue, Sally Jesse Raphael type of talk show, where they've got several different people who are against smoking. They're all on these, I guess maybe government agencies or agencies that are like, tobacco's bad, cigarettes are bad, you're the devil kind of talk. They even have a cancer patient on there as well, and basically Aaron Eckhart's character wins everybody over. Exactly.
They actually hit a real life show, the Joan London show, which I don't know if it's on anymore, but it was on at the time.
Yeah.
But of course, and that's how the movie opens up. He's sitting right next to a cancer patient, a teenager that's a cancer patient, and then he's got a committee member from a committee against smoking, that this one senator who's kind of the bad guy in the movie, sitting right there next to him. And he puts a good spin, and he has the whole crowd on his side.
Yeah.
And he's working for the tobacco companies, even shakes hands with Cancer Boy, as he's known in the movie. He's known in the movie as Cancer Boy, which it's the kind of movie it is, It's one of those things. It's like, it's not okay to laugh at this, but it's okay to laugh at this.
It's meant to be a dark comedy, right?
Exactly.
There's a lot of uncomfortable situations in this film where you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be laughing at it, but you're ending up laughing at it because the situations make themselves funny. Aaron Eckhart, what did you think about his character in this? Maybe not his character, but what did you think about his performance in this film?
His performance as Nick Naylor was I really, really enjoy his performance. Like, he's the center of the movie. Everything is essentially happening from his point of view.
Yeah. And
there are some scenes that it kind of take the side of his son's point of view, but it's kind of, you're seeing his dad coming out in the son. That's another kind of main theme of the movie, is he's kind of reconnecting with his son, because
right.
he and his wife are separated or divorced, and you can see him rubbing off on his son, and then the Nick Naylor character, of course, bettering himself for the sake of his son throughout the movie, and still being true to himself and showing his son, he's actually some good moral lessons in here. Maybe the subject matter, the side of the fight that Aaron Eckhart's character is on isn't necessarily one that a lot of people would agree with.
Right.
But he makes really good points and throughout the movie, and that's a good thing I liked about the movie. And it's funny because 10 years ago when I watched this movie, I was a smoker.
Yeah.
And now watching it again more recently as a non-smoker, I still enjoy the movie just as much.
Do you see it in a different way now because you don't smoke? I mean,
I view the movie in the same way, because a big point of the movie is, let people, the Nick Naylor side of the movie is let people decide for themselves. We don't, a big theme in the movie is they're wanting to put a big skull and crossbones on every cigarette pack. And that's the big senator's committee against smoking. That's his goal.
Yeah.
And that's what Nick Naylor and the Committee for Tobacco Studies or whatever is fighting against. And I do enjoy the point, it's like, the risk. if you're going to get into it. Not everybody does, but at the same time, let people decide for themselves what's right and what's wrong. Why is the government going to step in the way and tell you what you can and can't do? Or why is it? And he made a good point earlier in the movie. Is like or later in the movie, there's a big conference hearing, and he made a good point by saying, well, you're going to put a skull and crossbones on a pack of cigarettes. We should also put a skull and crossbones on other products that kill people every day.
Like the maple syrup or whatever.
Yeah, like maple syrup or Vermont cheese, Vermont cheddar cheese. You're going to put a skull and crossbones on packages of cheese because cholesterol kills more people than smoking does every year.
Right.
So there's some crazy points brought up in there. And I think it's just a really well thought out, well written movie. And I think it had to have that kind of point of view for anybody to really enjoy the movie.
Yeah. There's one of my favorite scenes in the film is where you see Aaron Eckhart's character, Nick Naylor, go to basically kind of buy off Sam Elliott's character, who is Lauren Lutch, who they're trying to convey as the original Marlboro Man.
Yes.
He has cancer, and I guess he doesn't have a lot of kind words for his former employers. And, he goes over there and basically is honest with him. He's like, you're going to take this money because of, this, and this, and this, and this. And he's like, whoa, and he, it's a really great scene because you're watching it and you're like, oh, there's no, Sam Elliott, his character is hard. He's been wronged. There's no way he's going to take this money. And he ends up taking the money.
Yeah, and if there was ever a movie that would make you identify with lobbyists, you know what I mean? Because it shows you it all in all. Everybody's just somebody, and they're just out to take care of themselves, no matter what their job title is. Of course, Nick Naylor, he's the tobacco guy. Well, he also meets up with the alcohol, the chick that does the same thing, a lobbyist for alcohol, and then a guy that does lobbying for guns, and they call themselves the Merchants of Death. So, and they have a like weekly meetings, and they talk about their body toll, and it's a dark comedy. But I don't know, it's weird. It gets you to take the side of lobbyists for a little bit, but it also makes you realize how far lobbyists are willing to go to get what they want done for their clients.
This movie was written and directed by Jason Reitman. I think it was one of his first films in major Hollywood or whatever, and I thought he knocked it out of the park. He made something that was very, very dark and very, taboo to not talk about, that he did it in a way that made it interesting and fun and creative, and that definitely helped him with other projects down the line with Juno and Young Adult and some of those other movies he did. So he's definitely a talent, Jason Reitman. If you get a chance, check out some of his other movies. But thank you for smoking. I believe it's a rated R film. It's got language and some sexual scenes in it.
Sexual scenes, no nudity, but does have sexual themes and sexual scenes in it. Which, all in all, this movie, I think it needs to be rated R, of course, but it's a pleasant watch. All in all, it is a pleasant watch.
All right, cool. Jake, thank you so much for doing this with us. We're going to be back here in just a few minutes. We've got Toby on the show, and we're going to review the Tom Hanks film, Sully. It's next on KWOC.